Hey friends, happy Monday. Welcome to a new week and welcome to my live. And if you happen to be watching later, welcome to the replay. My name is Robin and I'm with Robin's A Blue Creations, and I'm also an independent designer with Chalkology Couture. Once you hop on tonight's live or you hop on the replay at a later date, please feel free to say hi in the comments and tell me where you are watching from. I do want to remind you I am live in 2 locations this evening, so if you hear me refer to a comment that is not in your feed, that person is probably watching on a different platform. And also, if you wouldn't mind spreading, if at any time during this project you like what you see, please feel free to spread the craft love all over Facebook and YouTube. Hit that heart button, hit that like button. That not only helps my little channel get seen by new people, but that also tells the algorithm that you like this kind of content and that you would like to see more, and it will push more content like this out into your feed. So not only does it help me, it also helps you. And as always, tag your crafty friends and invite them to watch along with you. So with that, I'm going to take a peek at my comments. I see that Jason is watching from the other side of the door. And while other people are hopping on, I'm just going to go ahead and flip the camera and let's get tonight's project started. So as you can tell by the caption of the video, we are using the vegetable garden. It is the July Club Couture transfer and kit bundle. So as a Club Couture member, you get an exclusive B-size transfer. This month it happens to be a vegetable garden. And then you usually get coordinating either paste or ink singles. Sometimes you just get 1, sometimes you get 2. This month you get 3. And this month's colors are Berry, Ocean Mist, and Cadet. It's kind of an odd pairing, but those are the colors that you get. They're literally just like a ketchup condiment packet. You just want to knead it a little bit first. You can clip off a little corner, pour it onto a paper plate, or we also have some of these color trays. So you can pour your paste or ink into the color trays, and then you use your squeegees and apply it like normal. I'm going to put mine to the side. I just usually put mine in my bundle stash. So I have my regular inks out, and I have all sorts of colors. I was going to try to mix and match some of the colors. So like I have candy apple. For my oranges, I have orange peel and guava, and oh no, papaya. And I'm not for sure if these are all still current. I pulled out bumblebee. For my greens, I have kiwi, which I know is an old color, meadow. But if you wanted kiwi, you could probably mix bumblebee and meadow together. I also pulled out garden herb, which I know is probably an old color. And then I did pull out some purples because we have like a red onion, we have an eggplant, we probably have some other weird colors in here. So I pulled out fig, which I know is probably an old color, regal, currant jam, and then I have some black. And I'm not for sure, I know that's a radish. I don't know if this is like a garlic, a clove of garlic, or a head of garlic. So we'll see. We may have to come up with something different. It may have to be a nut. So let me talk a little bit about the Club Couture program. So it is a kind of a DIY crafty kit that comes to your mailbox every month. It is, I believe, 20, I can't read my thing, 20, oh, I think I have the wrong graphic on there. It's like, I think it's $21.99 regularly. There is a 3-month minimum commitment to sign up, but you can cancel at any time after that 3 months. If you are a Perks member, you do get 30% off of your monthly subscription. And of course, if you are a designer, you get it at an even more reduced price. But there are lots of fun different project kits that are available from month to month. So if you want any information about that, I have a link in the description of the video. I also have put a comment in the comment feed that has all of the links listed as well. So check that out. So let's go ahead and get started. So I have this cute little, it's roughly 16 by 13 canvas tote bag. It can be double-sided. There are no pockets. It has some cute little handles. So for any inking project, you want to put an ink mat of some sort inside of it. And there are a few reasons for that. So let me go ahead and stick that in there. I'm going to make sure it is on the top side of this gusseted seam down here. So for one of the reasons for the ink mat is obviously, as you can see here, it keeps your fabric taut. It also kind of helps alleviate some of the wrinkling if you don't iron your projects beforehand. It also gives a smoother surface to ink on, and then it's going to keep my backside protected. If my ink were to happen to bleed through onto the inside of the tote bag, it may actually end up on the backside. So my ink mat helps with that as well. So a few reasons. I'm going to push my mat up a little bit. There we go. Okay, so let's label our transfers. So these are reusable silkscreen transfers. They're reusable about 8 to 12 times, depending on how well you take care of them or how often you use them. Because it is reusable, I need to make sure that I get it put back on the carrier sheet the correct way and on the correct side. So I'm just going to mark back Or I can even put the name, Vegetable Garden, on the back side of the carrier sheet. That way I know when I'm done and ready to put it away, not to put it on this side, but to put it on this side. Okay, so we're going to pull it off. And then we're just going to place it. I wonder. Oh. Let's see. I'm going to pop it on this way. And I'm hoping that the straps of my bag are fairly even because I'm kind of using those as a placement guide. If you truly want to know the center of like your transfer, one easy way to do that is to fold it right sides together, so non-sticky sides together. And you can, depending on the transfer, sometimes you can line up the edges. Other times you can line up the edge of the design because you can kind of see through it. And then I'm just going to pinch in the middle right here with my left hand. And that gives me a little tiny mark up there. And then you could mark your bag for the center, but I'm just tonight going to use the strap markings as kind of my center. And then I'm going to burnish it down really well. I do have an area down here. I need to pull it a little tighter since I did not iron. I don't want those wrinkles to interfere with my ink. Okay, I'm going to get a bunch of, hopefully I don't use all these. And then I'm going to get a couple of multi-tools and a detail tool. And then let's get some wipes out. Because I do not want any of this ink on my fingers while I'm working. I might also get out a roll of placement tape. That way, if there are any places that I'm worried about paste colors mixing, I can kind of fix those. And I'm wondering, I'm assuming, I don't know, is that corn on the cob? Is that a cucumber? There's lots of ways you could go with this. So I know my carrot's going to be orange. My tomato's going to be red. This is like a jalapeno. It could also be a crooked okra. That's a radish, eggplant, a red onion, a pea. I'm just trying to figure out where my colors are going to go. So I know the carrots are going to be orange. So let's start with that color, because I know that's a given. And since the lines are kind of fine, they're kind of skinny, there's not a lot of silk screen to cover, I'm going to go ahead and use my multi-tool to kind of help get in the places where that greenery is. Ooh, that is a weird consistency. Let's see. So I'm just dipping my multi-tool into the ink. And if I say paste tonight, I mean ink. So with ink, you have a little bit more playtime. It does not dry fast like paste does. So I don't have to work as fast. You kind of want to have a light hand. You don't want to press firmly because that's when your ink may splooge out or ooze out from underneath the adhesive parts of the transfer. This ink is like whipped. A lot of my ink is old. Some of the original ink that I've had, I haven't used it as much, and I've been doing this for 7 years. 7 years last month. So a lot of it is old, but it's still good. I'm going to go ahead and wash that. I'm going to try to keep from dirtying up so many tools. So let's go ahead and check that. Make sure your fingers are clean before you touch your bag. Okay, so that part looks decent. Okay. So I'm just going to burnish the greenery down. And let's do garden herb. I'm going to let this multi-tool dry since I wiped it with the baby wipe, and I'm going to get my other one out. I'm just kind of using this box as kind of a buffer to kind of help protect that part of my bag. And to kind of help me from going over on that edge. Because Jason says he would have different ink splotches all over the place. Well, you kind of have to train your brain to keep looking for that, or looking to make sure you don't have ink all over. So if I seem kind of obsessive about checking my hands, it's just because I've learned the hard way. To check my hands first, because I have touched shirts and tote bags with ink on my fingers and have regretted it. Okay. Put the excess back in. I'm going to pop that up there. So before I clean that tool off, I'm going to check, make sure I have all of those areas covered. And I pretty much do. There's a few little spots that I've missed, but we're just going to call it purposeful distressing. Okay, so I can clean that one. Cleanup is super easy. Just cleans with soap and water or a wet washcloth. Okay, so burnish this part down. I know the tomato's going to be red. So let's go ahead and do the tomato. Whew, she's a bright tomato. Okay, so this has a lot of silk screen, so I need to be super careful and have a super light hand. So if you push too hard, you may kind of bunch some of that silk screen up. And then that's when you get big old blobs and bleeds. And then I need to be mindful of the bottom border, the bottom edge. How was everyone's 4th of July? Everyone have fun? I'm going to have to vicariously live through you. Although we had fun, but we don't shoot off fireworks anymore because our dog is deathly afraid of them. Like, to the point of not even going outside. Like we have to give her trazodone. We give her all the rawhide she wants. Hello, Miss Bonita. She's watching from the patio, her patio in the mountains, creek flowing by, so it's loud. She has to turn me up all the way. Oh. Well, happy belated birthday, Miss Bonita. It was her birthday yesterday. Okay. We're doing the Club Couture kit for the month. This is garden vegetable. So I'm going to pull out I'm going to go slightly rogue. And I'm still here. I'm just picking up the colors. So let's pull out one of the new ink colors that comes out tomorrow. It's espresso. We have loved it in paste, so now it's in ink. I'm going to do the stem of the tomato in espresso because, once you pull tomatoes off the vine, their stems kind of turn brown. This is probably a little darker than it needs to be, but y'all know how I fare when I try to mix colors. I could do it, but so I'm going to get my detail tool out that has a little tiny squeegee on it. Okay, sorry, I had to concentrate. Okay. Okay, check your fingers. So let's pull that up and make sure that it's good. It is. I'm still thinking on some colors, but I need to do the greenery for the radish. So let's do meadow. Mine is a little stiff, but with inks, it's just kind of like paste. If they're not as creamy as they used to be, feel free to add a touch of water. Yeah, that one's. It's hard to pull. Sometimes if they get too stiff, they don't like to go through the silk screen as well. So you may run into that problem. She be thick. Okay. I'm gonna get a larger squeegee. See if I can pull some of that off because I have a lot of excess. Okay. Put the lid back on that. I think we may have to do some color matching or color mixing because I kind of want a pinky red for my radish. So we're going to mix a tiny bit of Dream Car with red. Let's see what we get. I don't need a lot. Like a skosh. Oops, you can't even see what I'm doing. So I put in a little bit of candy apple there. Like a tiny amount. That's probably still too much. I just want it to be a little different from my tomato. Still not quite pink enough. Still, let's do a little more. Just another tiny itsy amount. Eh. Okay, so let's pick all that up. Still not quite what I'm going for. So I'm going to wash that off and maybe pick up a little bit of Regal, which again I'm not positive is the current color. Tiny amount. It's probably too much. That might be what we need. Probably going backwards the other way. I don't know. I know what color I want. I just don't know how to get there. Yeah, we'll go with that. Not quite what I wanted. That one's super dry. I'm going to add that to my collection of paste that needs some love. Let's try this again. I think I just made currant jam. Maybe I should have added currant jam and dream color together. Because I literally just made that color. Oh, you can't make this up, people. Cannot make this up. So now I'm just adding dream car to our, and we're just going to use what we have. This is not the color I want, but we're going to use it anyway. Okay, let's just use it. It's just going to be an odd colored radish, which is also the same color I was going to use for my onion, but I'll figure that out. Okay. Oh yeah, that's totally not the color I was wanting. Actually, now we've just turned it into a beet. So yeah, it was totally on purpose. So now instead of a radish, we have a beet. Totally meant to do that. Totally meant to do that. Okay. Let's put that out of the way. Let's wash that off. Okay. That in there. Clean that off. If I don't clean all this as I go, I will end up with this all over my tote bag. And I don't want that. So, okay. Clean my hands. Okay. So let's get out Regal again, and we'll do the eggplant down here. I don't know what that is. It might be some kind of squash that has like the berry core, but we're just going to make it like it's an eggplant. Benita and I are on the same wavelength. She said, instead of a radish, call it a beet. That is exactly what I was thinking. I think this may be some sort of squash, but we're just going to make it into an eggplant. And I'm going to do it all in the same color, just to take the guesswork out of it. Okay. Oops. And then we'll come back in with, I'll wash my hands, with espresso and get that stem. Too much. Okay. So the eggplant is done. Bonita says, look at you using purple ink. Well, I can't get around it when there's an eggplant on my tote bag. There's a few of those. So let's do the onion. I'm going to get currant jam for that. Maybe. Ooh. Hopefully it's all still good. That little styrofoam thingy came apart. Okay, I'm going to throw that out. That was back when they used to use styrofoam type covers. Okay, so let's get a, ooh, no, not using that. I think that one might be done. I don't think I have another color of that. Well, I know how to make it. So maybe I have an idea. So we'll make it into a yellow onion, but we're going to do a miniature hot mess technique, maybe, if my fawn is not all dried up. Remember, I warned you that some of these inks are forever old. So I have a little bit of curry, which is one of my favorite colors, maybe. I have fawn, and I think those are going to be the only two colors I use. So we're going to do a little bit of a hot mess, which means I'm going to use my multi-tool, and I'm just going to make blobs with my fawn color. And then I'm going to come in with my curry. No, not curry. They do get spongy after a while. We'll use Bumblebee. Not my preferred color, but we'll use it anyway. So then I'm just going to add little spots, because you know how yellow onions aren't truly yellow, they aren't truly white. Okay, so then you're going to come in with a third squeegee, and I'm actually going to put something down right here so that I don't go off the edge. And you're just literally just going to kind of combine the marble, the two colors together. would have looked better with curry, but it didn't have any, so this will work. Probably have a little bit too much yellow in there. And that's how that works. And I will show you what that looks like. Let me clean all my tools. Check my hands. I don't want to touch the tote bag with some Rogue ink. So it kind of has, you can't see it, but it has kind of that marbled look. The yellow is a little bright, but it's what I had. Okay, so we're going to do this snap pea, hopefully in kiwi. It's going to be a little lighter than a normal pea, but that's okay. Let's use this one. Just real quick. You could make it two-toned if you wanted to. I'm not. And I'm going to come in with my detail tool. Get the little string thingy stem that's down there. And we're just going to even everything out. And that color is going to be done. Okay. Let's wipe that off. Okay. I think I'm going to do the same technique down here with I'm going to call it a garlic, a head of garlic. I'm going to do limited espresso because I do not want that color to overpower. Like maybe that's it. And then the rest we'll do in this fawn. I probably should have just mixed the color, but you've seen how well I do that. It's not my strong suit. So I'm just actually going to come over the top of that espresso just to tone it down, but it'll still give a hint of a darker brown tone, hopefully. And basically just kind of mixing it on the tote bag. And as long as you don't have any funky espresso stripes in your fawn, you should be able to just put it back in your container. Okay, now let's look at that. Looks pretty good. You can't see it probably very well, but I am going to come back. I missed a fairly large edge. It's hard to see it on that tote bag, but should be good. So now we need to figure out what color to do our jalapeno and our pepper, and we need to decide if that's a cucumber or an ear of corn in the right corner. I don't know. So let's do pesto for our jalapeno. I know they're usually more of a darker green, and I'm not going to do the stem a different color. It could also probably be an okra. Kind of depends on what you're into. Okay. Just washing my squeegee off. It's less I have to do later. Okay. So we can either do, well, we could do red, orange, or yellow pepper. I'm probably going to steer away from green. How about let's do an orange? We'll do I probably should have done papaya carrots. Or yeah, but we'll do an orange pepper. Real quick. And then I don't know quite what to do with that. It should probably be a cucumber, but that means we have to use some more green. So I guess we could come back in with the pesto again. That way that gives us kind of that design triangle. That'll be our last one. So we're just going to pretend this is a cucumber. Turn it back around. Okay. I've thoroughly used almost every ink color that I have. Didn't end up using black. That's okay. Okay. Clean that off. Okay, so now I'm going to clean my hands. Double check, and then we're just going to peel the rest off. Come on. Super fun. Okay, so I'm just going to stick this on the backer sheet. And then I will take this, when we're finished, I'll take this over to my utility sink and I will give it a good scrub with just some water and a board eraser. And I have most of the stuff that I used in tonight's project is linked in a cart link in the description, and I've also put the same cart link in one of the comments in the comment feed. I included the 9x12 Chalk Couture ink mat. This one is just a cutting machine sticky mat, but it works just as well. I included a squeegee, a multi-tool, placement tape. What else? I don't remember. But then I have a few ink colors linked, but you can pick whatever colors you would like. So that is for up to your discretion. Let's give you a look at the onion as well as our garlic. It's kind of hard to see, but it does work. So I'm just going to give this a little bit of a dry, but well, we talked about a few things, but I'm going to come back on Wednesday with another project, but we will heat set this project on Wednesday before we do the other one. But let's go ahead. I'm going to queue up. So you've seen the Club Couture graphic. So this is the color of the month. It is called Marigold, and I have a feeling it's going to go quick. It may, since we have a launch tomorrow, I would imagine that it may sell out tomorrow. I'll be surprised if it doesn't. But you can unlock the ability to purchase the Marigold color of the month with a $75 purchase while supplies last. So it's a fun orange color, perfect for fall, perfect for Halloween. So that is one promo. While we're drying, I'll go ahead and run this. There's a kind of a video on the side, so you can kind of watch that as I dry. But that is the autumn collection that launches tomorrow, I believe at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. There's also a Chalk Times Tiffany Thiessen release, and she'll have some fall and Halloween transfers as well in that collection. Both of those launch tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central. So go ahead and watch that while we're drying, and go ahead and tell me if there's any that you see that you think are going to be your favorites. Pop those in the comments while I dry this. And this won't get perfectly dry tonight. I'm just basically kind of drying it enough so that I can move it without totally messing it up. So I typically leave all of my ink projects on the ink mat for at least overnight. That way they get good and dry. And then I will come back with my Easy Press and heat set it, and I'll show you how to do that on Wednesday. So make sure you come back for that, or make sure you catch that replay if you can't catch it live. So I will point out, I don't know if you noticed, there are 4 fine art transfers in the new collection. There are 2 Van Gogh transfers. There's I believe it's Paul Cézanne, and then 1 Claude Monet. There are also new sublimation heat transfers that are in the collection. So if you're not totally into chalk and silk screens, you can try out heat sublimation. What else? There are a few, like the snowman leaner, and there's another winter transfer. Those aren't available yet, but it does say coming soon. This would be perfect for the farmers markets. If you go to your local farmers market, it could be cute as a lunch tote. Super cute. So again, I'll leave this sitting overnight just to let it dry really well. Um, I'm just not one for speeding up the drying process. I just want it to dry on its own. I'm having an avalanche over here. If you see anything in the video that you want to try to see up close and personal, I know I did a unboxing of some of the new stuff that I got the other day, but if you want me to pull anything out to look at, you're welcome to holler. Let's move this away. And then if you're sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, I want all of it, and your wish list is way bigger than your wallet, I highly suggest becoming a Perks member. So kind of think of it as your Crafty Prime membership. Instead of free shipping, you would get 30% off of all retail prices. So you pay $20 a month, but you also get a $20 monthly product credit. That is good for 30 days. You get to join the Chalk Couture Design Studio Facebook group. And then you, like I said, you get 30% off of all retail prices. You also get 30% off if you want to join Club Couture, or if you already have joined Club Couture, then you would get I believe you would get 30% off of that subscription. And then as you might have seen in the past couple of months, there's also some promos that are only for designers and Perks, so you would get access to those promotions as well. But if you're thinking about the upcoming holiday season and you want to purchase transfers and chalk paste to make gifts and or products to sell to make some extra income, being a Perks member would be a great way to do that, because you can always save 30% off retail prices. So I have a link about that in the description of the video, or you can put perk in the comments. Jason says Crafty Prime membership. That's clever. Well, it's pretty much what it is. It would be just like, you pay to be a member of Sam's Club to get into there to shop. You pay for a Prime membership to get free 2-day shipping. So why not become a Perks member with Chalk Couture to save 30% off, and you get your $20 back as a free monthly product credit. I think it's a win-win. So I think that's about it. We also still have the most requested collection live. There is the Snoopy Summer Collection. It is also live. There is the Tiffany Thiessen Summer Collection, but she also has the Fall and Halloween collection coming out tomorrow as well. We still have the Patriotic Collection, which some of those were on sale. I'm not for sure if they're still on sale. And then we have the regular summer collection. So lots to choose from. Too much to choose from. But it's all good. Okie doke. Let me come back to here. Okie doke. With that, I'm going to go ahead and hop off for the evening. Thanks so much for your help. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I will be live again on Wednesday. I'm going to be using the resin and the UV resin and the UV flashlight. And for those of you that might want to do the project, but you're a little bit skeptical of the UV resin, or you're a little bit hesitant, I'll also be doing the same project with some Mod Podge Ultra, and we will kind of compare the two, and I'll let you know how they compare to each other. So it should be a fun project. I'm excited to do it. I've been collecting stuff to make this project, and I'm excited to share it with you. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and hop off for the evening. Have a great rest of your evening. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you on Wednesday. Thanks for watching.